Daniel Sports Central will be giving you guys our Week 11 college football bowl projections for the 2023 college football season. We are headed down the stretch. There's only 3 weeks remaining of this regular season, so today we'll be talking about where things stand as of today and also what things could look like at the end of the season once we get to December. So with that, let's get started looking at the Myrtle Beach Bowl. We got Troy and Toledo, New Orleans Bowl, Liberty, and James Madison. Same story, by the way, with James Madison and Jacksonville State. Both teams are technically ineligible for this bowl season, but because we more than likely won't have enough 6-win teams this season, that does mean Jacksonville State and James Madison are the next two teams up. Cure Bowl, we got Arkansas State and Ohio. New Mexico Bowl, we got Wyoming and New Mexico State. LA Bowl, Colorado against Air Force. We got the Buffs back in the projections this week, which once again, with there not being enough 6-win teams, more than likely at the end of the regular season, that does mean a few 5-7 teams could slip into bowl season. So for Colorado, being a team that I expect to get at least one more win down the stretch, that does put them in a halfway decent position. I still have them projected for six wins this season, but there still is a chance either way if they only get one more that they still make it. And then Air Force on the other side, one of the better teams in the Mountain West. Then next up, we got Independence Bowl, Iowa State and Arizona. Iowa State's a team I got projected for a 5-7 team making a bowl game here. And then Arizona on the other side, I got them projected for 7. Arizona is a team that's been really impressive the past few weeks. I got them projected for 7, but I wouldn't be surprised if they made that 8 by the time we're done with this season. Bahamas Bowl, we got Jacksonville State and Northern Illinois. Frisco Bowl, SMU and Texas State. Boca Raton Bowl, Coastal Carolina and San Jose State. Gasparilla Bowl, we got Georgia State flexing in for the ACC/SEC team, taking on Utah State. And then Birmingham Bowl, Georgia Tech against UCF. Got Georgia Tech projected for 6, but they're kind of borderline in the ACC. It won't be easy for them down the stretch to get up to 6, but I think they do it. And then Camellia Bowl, App State, and Western Kentucky. Armed Forces Bowl, BYU against FAU. BYU's a team I got projected for 6, even though this is also a team that's kind of iffy down the stretch here. The Big 12, I've only got 8 teams out of the 14 projected for bowls out of the Big 12, which is definitely a pretty slim number, but there's also a chance. I mean, I had TCU and Texas Tech both in bowl games last week. Now I got both teams projected for 5, which once again, it's tough to predict because there are going to be some 5-7 teams in bowl games. I really do believe that this season. So even if you do go 5-7, there is still a chance. So keep that in mind moving forward. Idaho Potato Bowl, Bowling Green and Boise State. 68 Ventures Bowl, UTSA and Georgia Southern. Las Vegas Bowl, Nebraska and USC. Nebraska got them projected for 7 still, even though it's going to be tougher for them down the stretch to get there. But I at least think they get up to 6. And then USC on the other side, I got them projected for 8. Just really disappointing season to this point for USC. This is still such a talented offense. It's just defensively, they've been awful this season. But USC for them being in such a deep conference, that does land them the Las Vegas Bowl, but still a halfway decent matchup. Hawaii Bowl, we got UNLV and Rice. Quick Lane Bowl, Rutgers and Eastern Michigan. I do have Rutgers losing out still, even though this is a team that kept it close against Ohio State for a while this past week. So they could still get a better position, but as of right now, I got them in the Quick Lane Bowl against Eastern Michigan. First Responder Bowl, Louisiana and Colorado State. Guaranteed Rate Bowl, Maryland and West Virginia. Got Maryland projected for 6, West Virginia for 8. And then Military Bowl, Syracuse got them projected for 6 against Memphis. Duke's Mill Bowl, we got Kentucky and Duke. Got Kentucky for 7, Duke for 8. And the ACC is especially a pretty mixed up mess in this situation. I've got 5 teams in the ACC projected for 8 at this point, and Duke is towards the higher end of that based on head-to-head matchups, but still a pretty solid matchup for them taking on Kentucky. Holiday Bowl, we got Miami and Utah. Got Miami projected for 8, Utah for 9. This would be an interesting matchup. 2 of your better teams in their respective conferences this season. And then Texas Bowl, Auburn against Kansas State. Get Auburn projected for 7, Kansas State for 9. Fenway Bowl, Boston College and South Florida. Boston College has really improved this season. They were a mess at the beginning of the year, but now I got this team projected for 7, taking on South Florida in the Fenway Bowl. Pinstripe Bowl, Illinois against NC State. Got NC State for 8, Illinois for 6. They're entering the projections this week. It's going to be tough for them to get up to 6 wins, but I do think they find a way to do it, especially with being in the Big Ten, such an unpredictable conference, especially in the middle. Pop-Tarts, well, we got Oklahoma and Notre Dame. Got Notre Dame projected for this one once again, flexing into the ACC's position. They're currently a 3-loss team. This would be a pretty solid matchup for them. I really do think, though. Oklahoma got them projected to win out and be 10-2 on the season heading into bowl season, but obviously they need some help at this point if they want to be in the Big 12 title game. As of right now, I've got Texas and Oklahoma State in that Big 12 title game, and so that does put Oklahoma State in the Alamo Bowl to take on Oregon State, a team that's pretty much third place for me in the Pac-12 as of now. Got them projected for 9. Gator Bowl, we got Tennessee and Minnesota. Tennessee got them projected for 8. Minnesota for 7. This one would make sense for the Gator Bowl, even though could throw Wisconsin in this position as well. Bottom line, past Iowa, there's just not very many good teams in the Big Ten. Really past Penn State. I mean, you got Michigan, Ohio State, and Penn State. 3 really solid teams in the Big Ten this season. But beyond that, really no one else is good in the Big Ten. That's something that we have learned down the stretch. And then Sun Bowl, we got UCLA and Clemson. Got the Bruins projected for 8. And then Clemson for 8 as well. Nice win this past week for them against Notre Dame. Liberty Bowl, Florida, and Kansas. I do think Florida finds a way into bowl season. I do have them projected for 6. That's a team that does have a pretty challenging schedule down the stretch here. So that's something to keep an eye on. But I think they find a way into the Liberty Bowl to take on Kansas, a team I got projected for 9. Music City Bowl, Texas A&M, and Wisconsin. Got the Aggies projected for 7. Same for Wisconsin. And then Arizona Bowl, Tulane against Miami, Ohio. Moving on to some of your higher-end bowl games, we got Iowa against Mizzou in the Citrus Bowl. Iowa, I do think they win the Big Ten West, and I still do, even though it's really, I mean, their offense is just so bad, but their defense finds a way. That's what truly matters for their team. Defensively, they could be one of the best teams in the country, honestly, but their offense has just been truly awful. But I got them in this game taking on Missouri. Got them projected for 7. Mizzou's really had a strong season, and if this matchup did happen, I'd probably expect Mizzou to be probably a touchdown favorite. Relay Quest, well, we got North Carolina against LSU. This is a game where you got an SEC team against either a Big Ten or an ACC team. In this case, it'd probably be Wisconsin or North Carolina, in which I do think the Tar Heels get the benefit here. They take on LSU in the Relay Quest Bowl. I got the Tar Heels projected for 8, LSU for 9. This matchup would definitely make sense, and you could swap it around as well. Missouri in this game and LSU in the Citrus Bowl, or vice versa. Moving on to the Cotton Bowl, we got Washington and Alabama. Got the Huskies projected for 11. I do think they take a loss down the stretch here still, and I do think they lose in the Pac-12 title game against likely Oregon, but that still would keep this team in a pretty solid bowl game. I got them in the Cotton Bowl taking on Alabama, a team I got projected for 11 wins and losing to Georgia in the SEC title game. Orange Bowl, we got Louisville against Ohio State. I got Louisville as the second place team in the ACC. Got them projected for 10, Ohio State for 11. Even though Ohio State's really a team that I think could, down the stretch, I mean, this team is very much still in contention. They're the top-ranked team in the initial college football playoff rankings, which was slightly surprising to me. But they are talented enough to make a run down the stretch here and still get to the college football playoff. But as for now, I do want to have this matchup for the Orange Bowl. Peach Bowl, we got Penn State against Texas. Texas, I got them as the Big 12 champion. But at this point, Texas playing likely Oklahoma State in the Big 12 title game as I got projected right now. I just don't think that would be enough for Texas, a one-loss team, to get into that top 4. Instead of got a different team. But Texas, that would put them in the Peach Bowl to take on Penn State, one of the really true powerhouses in the Big Ten this season. And then Fiesta Bowl, Ole Miss got them projected for 10 and into the New Year's 6 this week, taking on Fresno State, one-loss team currently. This is a team that I think finds a way into the New Year's 6 bid as of right now. But either way, whoever is in the New Year's 6 bid is probably not going to be a very good team. Fresno State, Tulane are your 2 main options right now. We thought Air Force was definitely up there in contention heading into last week, but they just took a really bad loss to Army. So I think Fresno State, though, if you compare Fresno State and Tulane, I think the Bulldogs have a stronger end to the season, and they find a way into the New Year's 6. And then on to your college football playoff semifinals. Now we got Michigan against Florida State in the Rose Bowl, though as the weeks go on and with the controversy of Michigan right now, I am cautious with Michigan. I think Michigan does lose to Penn State this week, but they still win the Big Ten, which would put them in the college football playoff probably as number 2 or 3, taking on Florida State, a team I got projected as undefeated heading into the college football playoff. But Michigan, once again, we'll find out a lot about this team this upcoming week. And even if they do lose this week, still got a chance against Ohio State at the end of the regular season. So even if they do lose this upcoming week, not quite out of contention quite yet. And then for your 1 versus 4 game, we got Georgia at number 1, got them projected to be undefeated and SEC champion, taking on Oregon, a team I got winning the Pac-12. I think Oregon's been playing really well lately. Washington's coming off of a huge win against USC, but I think the Ducks play better down the stretch. They find a way to get to Vegas, play Washington in a rematch of the regular season matchup, and then they beat them, and that puts Oregon in the college football playoff taking on Georgia. But with that, that's going to wrap up bowl projections for this week. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below on these matchups, and I appreciate you guys watching as always. Stay tuned for more from All Sports Central. Catch you on the next one.